I think CWIX has become a safe environment where people can bring their, nations in this case, can bring their capabilities and try, sometimes fail, fix the problem and then try again. And I think that's one of the major points in CWIX is exactly that.
Welcome to the Transformation Brief, the podcast here at Allied Command Transformation, where we explore people, ideas, and the capabilities shaping the future of the Alliance. I'm your host, Jackie Faye Burton, and today we are talking about Coalition Warrior Interoperability Exploration, Experimentation, Examination Exercise, or as many know it, CWIX. The exercise dates back to 1999, which is also the year that our guest joined the Portuguese military. Joining us today is First Sergeant Francisco Santos from the CWIX management team. Sir, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so before we dive into NATO's premier interoperability exercise, I want to talk about your background. You actually joined the Portuguese military at just 19 years old, and you wanted to be a fighter pilot, but
Yes.
You told me that those dreams got dashed because of some injuries that you had gotten during football, or as we call it here in the United States, soccer. And so since you couldn't fly planes, obviously, you jumped out of them.
Yes, so although I'm trained as an artilleryman, I had the privilege during these 27 years to acquire other military qualifications. Some of them in the IT or the CIS grounds, like comms, artillery comms, or Advanced Field Artillery Tactical Data System, which is a US command and control system, just to name something that related to our subject today.
Okay, but you were a paratrooper.
Yes, military parachuting was the closest possible that I could be to a pilot, at least for half of the flight, because the other half it's out of the plane. So.
Okay, so the other half you have to do the job that's actually on the ground. Believe it or not, I've actually gone skydiving myself, but I did it on my 25th birthday, and I did it with training wheels. I did it tandem with an instructor attached to me. So I always thought it was really cool, all the military guys jumping out of the back of these planes. But, besides being a paratrooper, you also, served nearly 3 decades as part of your military career. You have gone on several NATO deployments, and you went to Afghanistan in 2010, and you also deployed to Lithuania as NATO started beefing up its security along the eastern flank after Russia annexed Crimea. But here at Allied Command Transformation, it's actually your first time on this side of the Atlantic.
Yes, so it's, like growing up in Europe and consuming all the American movies and TV shows, you always dream of coming here and seeing with your own eyes what you are seeing on television. Living here for 3 years, it's a huge country. We had the privilege of traveling quite a lot, not as much as I wanted, because that's how I realized this is a huge country. But yes, we love to live here, and the fact is that the weather it's so close to the weather that we had in Portugal that we really enjoy it.
Okay, but besides the weather, of course, you also really like the people.
Of course, no, it's when I say it's a huge country, it's huge in everything. It's very diverse in geography, in climate, in people, and I think that's the amazing part of the U.S. It's just like that.
Yes, it's a very diverse place, but if I don't say so myself, we are a friendly bunch. But turning to CWIX, for people that may not have ever heard of this exercise or who've ever gone there, you've been working on the exercise since 2023. What is it all about?
So CWIX is a digital interoperability exercise. It's the digital interoperability exercise. It stands for, as you said, Coalition Warrior Interoperability Exploration, Experimentation, Examination Exercise, and it provides a structured multinational environment where allies partner nations and NATO bodies are able to improve the digital interoperability of their command
And it's huge. There's a lot of people.
It is. It is. It's really big. But I think, yeah, it's one of, and it's big and it's getting bigger every year.
So, I mean, I think that's one of the things that, goes to show, in 2023, it was one size, but you were telling me the other day it's increased in size every single year.
Yes. I think in the last 10 years, ever since 2015, it has increased between 15 and 20% every year. So it went from 1,000 people to what we have now, and we are expecting to have in June, in the 2.5 weeks, we expect to have 3,400 participants.
Okay, so that's, crazy, crazy growth, which I think goes to show that the tech that the Alliance is using is changing rapidly, and we are, constantly having to keep up with different systems to make sure that they are interoperable. And one of the things that J.R. Couture, had told me in an earlier episode of the Transformation Brief is it's not like interoperability is a final destination. It's something that, the Alliance continuously has to work on. How does CWIX play a role here?
So to give you an example, in NATO, we have 32 allied nations. Each one of us speaks different languages. In NATO, when we work together, we are interoperable because we speak only 2 languages, either English or French. So with digital capabilities, that's very difficult to obtain because every year new capabilities show up. For example, this year we are expecting between 600 and 700 capabilities with new languages with new languages showing up. So it is a continuous process that CWIX helps because we test those languages. In CWIX, those capabilities are either creating a translation between them or using a common language to speak between them so they can understand each other. So and because they are always showing up new languages and new capabilities, that's why we have to keep up with the process.
Okay, and then I think, to some military exercises, it's troop movements in the field. This is a completely different exercise. It's all about, the digital things working together. Similarly, if I take my hair dryer to Europe and try to plug it in the wall, a fuse might blow. And so also, with CWIX, things aren't always successful. It also provides a safe environment where, you might test things and then it doesn't go how it's supposed to.
Exactly. I think CWIX has become a safe environment where people can bring their, nations in this case, can bring their capabilities and try, sometimes fail, fix the problem and then try again. And I think that's one of the major points in CWIX is exactly that.
Yeah, and I think, the importance that we bring nations, NATO organizations, and industry into this safe environment so that we can test all this stuff before we need to use it in a real world operation. But, so I guess how are we helping a warfighter, with CWIX?
Exactly that way, because testing in this safe environment provides us with the ability to how can I say it, de-risk those capabilities before it's needed in an operational context.
Okay, so wrapping it up, if someone is attending CWIX for the first time this year, what is something that may happen that could surprise them?
I think just the sheer size of the exercise, the amount of people working together is just amazing. And the fact that we test across all domains is something unique in NATO. This year we'll have around 3,400 people of 40 different nations divided into 19 focus areas, which includes, or including as well, one of the HQ SACT's beacon projects, next generation targeting. Of course, we will have capabilities also testing in artificial intelligence and other subjects that are very important these days. But yes, I think CWIX is
It's just massive.
Yes, and it's one of the jewels in SECTI's crown, and enables the fight, enabling the fight today for SACEUR, and ultimately the fight tomorrow for HQ SECTI.
All right, well said. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, that is all for today's episode of the Transformation Brief. Interoperability, it is something that happens behind the scenes, but it plays a critical role in ensuring allies can operate together effectively across systems, services, and nations. Thanks for listening.